Hey, have you ever heard of the sports theory? Not the one by J.L. Farrell and Robert D. Wield, but the one by me. So how does it go? Well, I produced it when I was stumbled through the question I was writing for my IBTOK essay. The question was, what role does imagination play in producing knowledge? Stumbled, I came up with a theory of my own. The theory goes like this. The way we consume knowledge is in spots, from bedtime stories to ideas we learn in class, just to life experiences. And by themselves, these spots hold no meaning, no understanding. Yet it's through connecting these spots that you form understanding, theories, ideas. So let's use Bob for example. Bob wants to talk about a hot pot that's currently cooking. So he uses his first spot of knowledge that if you to pick up an object, you reach to it, you clench it, and you retract it. That's the first spot of knowledge. The second spot of knowledge, though, says that if you touch a hot object, you'll be burnt. And the third spot of knowledge says the relative heat of an object is dependent on how close it is to what is radiating heat. Referencing these three spots of knowledge, he forms an understanding of the situation. So he picks up the hot pot from the handles, not burning himself and picking up the hot pot. So now let's apply to a different context. 5x plus 1 equals 11. How do you find x? Now to actually solve this, you have to know a couple of stuff. You would have to know subtraction, you would also have to know division and multiplication, and just know how variables work in math, right? These stuff, subtraction, addition, multiplication, division, they're their own individual spots of knowledge. And then to actually understand the equation, you connect them. So now 5x plus 1 equals 11, subtract the 1, you get 10, 5x equals 10, divide the 5, you get x equals 2. I have to double check that in my head real quick. X equals 2. I don't know, I'm so unsure, give me 1 second. Yeah, you get 2, I don't know. But yeah, you reference different spots of knowledge. Now let's apply this to grammar or English, right? To actually know how a sentence functions, right, you would have to know a couple of stuff. You would have to know what a verb is, you would have to know how punctuation works, you would have to know what a subject is, right? And then to actually understand the structure of a sentence, subject, verb, and then I actually forgot the structure of a sentence. But to actually understand the structure of a sentence, you'd have to understand these separate components. And the idea is that these separate components are their own spots of knowledge, and you connect them to form your understanding. You can apply this to science as well. So if you want to understand how the body works, you apply different stuff from the respiratory system to digestive system. They are their own spots of knowledge, and even there, they have their own mini spots of knowledge. So this goes to the idea that spots of knowledge can vary in size. So while a spot of knowledge could be something as simple as picking up something, right? It could also be how the body functions, which is really weird. But yeah, that's the spots theory. Now, something that should be noticed that these spots of knowledge don't have to be in the same discipline. Essentially, a spot of knowledge from, let's say, something you learned in Cyber Patriots, a cybersecurity competition, could be applied to fixing the toilet. In my case, during one of my Cyber Patriot tournaments, my mentor told me this quote, and I love it so much. All you need to know is how to find out what you don't know, right? And that helped in the competition. However, that also helped when my toilet got broken, and then I obviously wanted to use the toilet, so I had to fix it. In this way, I could have panicked or, gone to another toilet and left the thing. However, I remember the quote and used that spot of knowledge, and was it other spots of knowledge to fix the toilet, if that makes sense. Or a better example may be animation. The idea in animation is that animations are really just a compilation of a bunch of images, right? And these images are called frames. So each frame, while kind of insignificant on its own, is building up towards this animation. So you could take that understanding of animation as a spot of knowledge and apply it to your life, right? And the other spot of knowledge you could corroborate it with is, let's say, an experience. Like, you could notice how your life has ups and downs, or sometimes there's mundane days in your life. That's an experience. right? And you apply your knowledge of animation and that experience to form the understanding that life can be like frames in animation. Each frame may not seem as important. There's some key frames. However, each frame is still important. They're the reason why the animation flows the way it does. Sorry, the reason why life flows the way it does. So these spots of knowledge are not restricted to disciplines. They can be corroborated across disciplines and used for different forms of understanding or ideas. So how does this theory affect my life? Well, for one, it provides me for everything, right? So whether it's learning about amino acids in biology, or learning about I always forget, like whenever I'm giving an example, I always forget what I'm going to say. Or learning about probability in math, right? Or learning about opportunity cost in economics. It gives you these multiple spots of knowledge that, while by itself or initially may not really provide any meaning to your life or any effect on your life, later down the road, it serves its purpose. And secondly, it just makes stuff more fun. For one, I was watching Ben 10 the other day on Netflix, and then this thing, Ben turned into the small alien. I forgot what his name was, Asmatrax or something Trax. And the whole idea was like he was trying to predict why his watch was glitching, and he said something about the amino acids or amino sequences spliced apart. And I was like, oh, I kind of get what he's saying. So these spots of knowledge also, combined with experiences and ideas or just media, provide for a more enjoyable experience, right? And the more stuff you know, the more you can enjoy life. Or like that time I was watching Oppenheimer, and it's like you understood, due to history class, you actually understood what was going on. So you knew some of the scientists, or you knew some of the ideas they're referencing. Okay, 3 main questions. Actually 4. First one, why did I change the outfits a couple of times in the video? It's just more so for fun. Okay, now the 3 main questions. The first one is, the theory was really originally an answer to what role does imagination play in producing knowledge. So the idea was that what connects these spots of knowledge was imagination. However, looking back, I feel like imagination is more so a combination of these spots of knowledge. So I don't necessarily know what connects the spots of knowledge, right? Maybe it's like, I'm using a spot of knowledge right now. So in databases, there's I'm trying to remember this correctly. There's like a master key and there's like a foreign key. And the foreign key, I believe, the assembly. No, I think it's the master key. Basically, the foreign key is what you use to connect these the different tables in the database, right? So maybe for like each spot of knowledge, there's this foreign key, and that's how you connect all of these spots of knowledge. Maybe. So I don't necessarily think the imagination is what connects them anymore. So then that's one of the questions I have. Like, what connects the spots of knowledge? The second question I have is, well, it's a hypothetical question. We really don't know. Anyways, if 2 people, right, were to experience the exact same events in like the exact same order, same place, same time, everything, would they be the same person? And the reason I ask this is because, on one hand, I believe a person is a combination of all the spots of knowledge they have. So like their beliefs, their ideas, who they are, how they speak, everything like that is a combination of those spots of knowledge, right? However, there's different factors to take in. Like there's the genetic factors. How much does genetic play into the mentality of someone, right? So that's one. Also, let's say they look, yeah. So I don't think, okay, here's my answer to that question now. Because if you factor in genetics, they didn't look exactly the same, then they would perceive stuff differently because of the environment if they don't look exactly the same. So maybe the answer to that, if they were to experience the exact same events, they wouldn't be the exact same person. But I don't necessarily know. And the third question, shoot, I'm forgetting what the third question is. I can come up with one right now. Give me 1 second. Just remembered. So the third question was, does that mean every piece of knowledge is useful? And I think that's interesting because, on one hand, I wanted to say yes initially. However, one thing, like tried this video a couple of times, right? And the first time I redid the video, the examples I was trying to use was social media and how, like, once you go through social media, you get these spots of knowledge. However, the more I struggled forming an example of that, I realized how much useless stuff is on social media. Because after like a scrolling session of like 3 to 5 minutes, I barely remember half of the stuff there. So like now when I think about it, a lot of the spots of knowledge I have don't necessarily come from social media. A lot of them come from like maybe longer form content. But it's like short form content, I don't believe has enough of an effect to stay with you for a long term. So I guess they don't really form, like maybe they're micro spots of knowledge. I guess that's the thing now. So does that mean every piece of knowledge is useful? So those are my 3 questions. Yeah, my 3 questions. Okay. Have a great day.